broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello! Welcome, Finding Carter fans, to the Finding Carter After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. If you have not already, shame on you. Go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. That way you don't miss a single thing we do here. Go to iTunes. Hit subscribe. Don't miss a single podcast. Go to SoundCloud. I'm pretty sure you can subscribe there and not miss a thing. We're so excited. I'm here live, solo, just me. That's right, I got sick of the other two. They were holding me back. So I took over the studio and it's just me and the chat roll live talking about Finding Carter. I'm so excited. You can tweet at me live during the show using the hashtag ABTV Finding Carter. I will keep an eye on that. I will also keep an eye on the chat roll. And you can tweet at me directly at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, everybody. This episode was a whirlwind of emotions. I haven't decided where I want to start. Let's start with the beginning. The show starts with Olivia's OD, and then we go back 10 hours. I feel like we could have gone, like, you know when shows do that? They start somewhere and then they go back and then show us how we got there. She was overdosing in a bathroom. I'm pretty sure we know how she got there. It would have been really fun to see something interesting occur before that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. But we got Olivia, who everyone said was probably the foster sister. And then, what? Olivia's the foster sister? Oh my God, we're so smart, guys. We figured it out. Good job. I was really proud because I also thought that. Thank you to the people in the chat who like this shirt. It's my Finding Carter shirt. So we have Olivia, who is the half-sister. She seems super excited to meet Carter and to meet Taylor. And I like the idea of Carter having this giant family that just keeps growing. I like that Olivia thinks that because she's Ben's foster sister, she's now sister to the Carters, to the Wilsons, Carter and Taylor. Does she know about Grant? No one ever remembers Grant, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't know about him. That's gonna be really fun to see. So Olivia is 21 days sober, which we all talked about why it was that in the preview he said, you have to stay sober. I'm really disappointed that my theory about Olivia being a drug mule and that one of her like heroin balloons pops, I'm really, really bummed that that wasn't it. So she gets drunk at this party, and we'll talk about this party because I've never heard of a house concert. So I'm taking it to the chat roll. If you guys have heard of house concerts and have attended them, I'd like to hear about them because, you know, hearing Elizabeth talk about them being like, oh, I didn't know they were overnight. I've never heard of that. I was like, but you've heard of house concert? That's just weird. That's a thing. I don't know. Tell me if it's real or if they made it up for the show. Okay, but let's talk about Olivia while you guys comment on that. Olivia gets drunk. Carter and Ben have to carry her and they take her to Lori's place, which makes the most sense, right? I know that I'm always the one who's like, if something happens, go to the police. But I get it. She doesn't want to go juvie. She doesn't want to go back to her foster family. I get it. I can accept that. Is it weird that I'm accepting that? I think so. I think it was cool of them to take her to Lori's. It was an empty house. They could take care of her. That's great and all. I think it was real stupid. Boo69Bs in the chat roll agrees with me that it was real stupid of Carter to leave her alone. This girl, I know that Carter doesn't know that Olivia had an addiction, but like then she figured it out, you know? She's not stupid. It just made no sense that this girl's vomiting. She was vomiting in front of her. And then Olivia says to her, I'm going to throw up again. Could I have some privacy? You were just throwing up in front of me. Why would I leave you alone? It just bothered me that Carter was stupid enough to leave. Yeah, the chat roll is agreeing that Carrie says, never heard of a house concert either. And Chaos says, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a real thing. I kind of would. All right, we'll get to the house concert in a second. Let's wrap up this Olivia storyline. We get a little bit more insight about Ben, that the money he needs is to take Olivia to rehab. That's exciting. And we see also Lori comes back, and we're reminded that she was a nurse. I feel like we're getting these reminders of what the main plot of the show was to begin with Lori coming back and that she was a nurse, with the pictures of Carter as a baby, when Carter goes to the party and or the concert and gives her whole life story. It's kind of a reminder, guys, this is who Lori's supposed to be. Remember, she's the biological mother who also happened to raise her, and we have that tension, I guess, that like, do I still love her? Do I not? Remember that? We need to bring it back. That's kind of what I feel like the show is doing. Anyway, eventually, Lori helps Olivia. Okay, so Lori's doing the chest compressions and doesn't like do the mouth to mouth, and all of a sudden Olivia starts breathing. Girl, do you not know how to do CPR? It's a 2-part thing. You do both those things. You don't just do one. It just felt silly. And then, oh, she's awake. We need her to stand up and put her in the shower. Lori, I'm not sure that's it. I feel like those are the things you do to sober someone up, and what this girl needs is like to vomit and to get all this drugs out of her system. Anywho, you know me and my problems with Lori. Ben takes Olivia to rehab, and that solves that problem, right? Olivia came into the show, she was real cute, and she left. My question for the chat roll about Olivia is, how old is she? Right? She's the younger sister of Ben. Ben's still in high school. We can assume he's around Carter's age, right? Because he's a senior. She was supposed to be a senior. It's the aging thing is very confusing to me. Olivia has a face like Haley Steinfeld where she looks real young, but I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be their age. I don't know. It seemed a little confusing. And it seems like she had been to juvie, she said, so she's under 18. They never explain how old she actually is. We have Sarah in the chat roll saying maybe she's 17. And yes, Sarah, you can vomit in the shower. I'm not saying you can't vomit in the shower. If anything, though, you should always vomit in a toilet. Guys, that's my advice. Vomit in the toilet. Brenda has a question. I missed it. So let's talk about this house concert because you all have thoughts on it. We have other people saying 15. Boo says 15. Carrie says 14, 15, 15, 16. Brenda thinks 18. Yeah, it's confusing how old she is, and I wish they would have said something. All right, this house concert. So Seth is the DJ, Bird's boyfriend, and MTV is really trying to make the show MTV related with this concert, right? We have all these different bands performing. We have Bird singing. Is that us? Is that like MTV trying to do the Disney Channel thing where the actors have to also sing and put them together so that like we can now market these people as musicians? That's how we got like Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez and Miley Cyrus. All of the pop stars, I think that's what they're doing. I have some notes here from Hannah. I'm just checking to make sure I didn't miss anything about Olivia. Yeah, here's her thoughts on Olivia. Like, what the fudge nut balls? All this necessary, really? Like the emotional development that came from it? Yeah, okay. But unnecessary that Olivia needs to go to rehab. Couldn't we have just brought Lori and Ben and Carter together regardless? Yeah, I agree. So the Olivia story and Lori coming together and this heart-to-heart thing, I agree that makes a little more sense, that, you know, we're trying to get Ben and Carter closer and Lori. I get that. But Olivia felt like if that's what we needed her for, then she came in, did the storyline, she's gone. Are we going to see her again? Is she going to meet Grant? That's the important thing. Poor Grant. Everyone forgets Grant. Anyway. Okay, so we have this like parallel heart-to-heart thing going on with Lori's heart-to-heart with Carter and Elizabeth's heart-to-heart. So Elizabeth is much more level-headed about the relationship with Jared. She tells her older guys aren't going to take it as seriously. Carter, you're getting too invested. Excuse me. I don't know how I feel about this, right? So Lori's thought process on this relationship is follow your heart and see what happens. Yes, agreed. That is one way to go down this path. Elizabeth's kind of more the, listen, let's be realistic about it. You can follow your heart. You're probably going to get hurt. That's fine. But like, understand the things about relationships and about men and about how life is. And I feel like they're both right. We have this level-headed woman, Elizabeth, talking about love in terms of like logistics and realism. And we have Lori, who, as we know, is not totally 100% in the head, talking about love in terms of just pure emotion. And if you put that together, that's ideal. And yet Carter is not, she's like the extreme of both and neither. I don't know if that made any sense, but Carter like is neither logical nor level-headed, but is also crazy emotional. She's like, I have a spectrum in my head that I really wish you guys could see. That's where I put them. We also have to deal with Elizabeth finding Carter's phone and calling Taylor's. We get this whole she's with Carter, or Carter's with Lori. Elizabeth feels all whatever. We have this whole episode dealing with Elizabeth kind of coming to terms with the fact that her kids are growing up. And don't worry, we will talk about Grant and Reagan because I freaking love it. Yeah, Elena in the chat says Lori is a cool parent. Elizabeth is a cool friend. Sorry, Lori is a cool friend. Elizabeth's a real parent. Sarah asks if she's bipolar. I don't know. So Carter was supposed to go on her date with Jared. And then it's exactly what Elizabeth said, right? That Carter was so excited about the first night that we were going to be together. It was going to be a real date. But Jared's like, I have to work because he's an adult and he didn't know that it was a special thing. My question is, what could he have possibly said to her that she thought that this was like a real date thing as opposed to like he just wanted to hang out the way they always do? I want to know what it was that he said that made her blow this up in her head. You know, because like he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would say like, yeah, it's going to be real special. And then she believes it's real special. And then he's like, I meant hang out. He'd have to say something to get her to think that. That's what I think. Sarah says, I don't get Elizabeth. She's a freaking cop. Yeah, she's a cop. She's very level-headed and doesn't think with her heart. And she lets the kids run amok. That's true. She definitely does. Okay. Let's real quick talk about Jared, because first he's all whatever, and then he makes this date, this real candlelight romantic date, and he takes her to his apartment, and she wakes up there, and blah, blah, blah. It's all lovey-dovey. I don't get him. I don't get it. He doesn't want to be with her, but he's attracted to her. It's kind of like, I'm going to be real vulgar for a sec. He wants to get in her pants. And he sees that she's this kid. Yeah, he said kid. And he wants to get in her pants. And so the only way to do that is to do this lovey-dovey thing because that's what she wants. That said, Carter is not that romantic girl. Carter's the kind of girl who, she's had a few boyfriends. She likes the bad boy, which makes complete sense with Jared and what we see in the trailer. But like, it's just weird to see him feel like he has to do these things to get in her pants and then try to make it believable. I don't believe him. Yeah, Sarah says he's trying to win her heart. Sure, he's trying to win her heart, but he doesn't want to win her heart. He wants to win her panties. Anyway, this whole Carter, Elizabeth, Lori thing feels like we should have played it out a while ago. We should have played it out in season 1. I don't think we need to keep doing this push and pull with Carter's emotions on who's her real mom. Or at least we don't need to see Elizabeth keep suffering with it. And the fact that Lori seems to be kind of coming to terms with it. Lori refers to Elizabeth as Carter's mom. Lori has accepted this kind of thing. It's weird. I just want to see. Okay, so Hannah's notes say, Elizabeth, feel bad, but calm down. Carter just found out she has 20 siblings and 20 mothers. The king has a lot to go through. Abso-frickin-lutely. The king does have a lot to go through. Carter and her sibling drama is ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about what you all want to talk about, Maxler. But before we do, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I know it's hard to have one person, doing this show and doing the chat roll and talking to you all and tell you what's happening. And I appreciate you all sticking with us. I know that Hannah and Kylie also appreciate you guys. We ask you to do a very simple thing for us. Go to iTunes. That is where you can listen to us and not see our pretty faces, but listen. All over iTunes, you can download the podcast for free. And we give this to you for free, very simply, because we want you to subscribe. We want you to come and hang out with us all the time. Also, leave us a comment and a rating and a review. If you do that, you will get a shout out on the air. And I just checked. We have no new shout outs to give. What's happening, guys? Go on there. Give us a writing a review. Words. Give us a review, and we will read it on the air. If you like our show, usually there are 3 of us or more. Give us 5 stars. If you don't like our show, that's 4 stars. And we will read out your comments right here live on the air. That's how we get guests, guys. We had guests in season 1, and there were comments. Write more comments. See who we can get. Crash. We're working on getting people in. Crash. And if you do it, maybe we'll get someone in. Crash. Also, we could probably get Max. So, his name is Crash. I don't need the crash sound effect, but good job. That was Jonathan in the booth, guys, trying to be helpful. Okay. Let's talk about Maxler. So, Max confronts... Well, let's back up before Max. Taylor doesn't want Max or Elizabeth to know about what happened on the trip. She has a study session with Gabe. Max seems to... He notices that something's weird about Taylor, which I think is 2 things really adorable. Because he, first off, is so in tune with her that even when she really hasn't changed anything, he knows something is up, which is so crazy. Sarah in the chat roll, just to let you know, we no longer read iTunes reviews because there are none. That's why. Write a review and we will read it on the air. Okay, so Taylor doesn't want Max to know. Max seems very aware of stuff happening. And Max at the house concert confronts Damon, who says, talk to Taylor. And then he confronts Taylor and she's like, nothing happened. So at this point, Max is positive that something happened with Gabe, right? And if I were in Taylor's situation, and I'm real lucky that I'm not, I would be aware of that. I would be aware that Max is already uncomfortable, even though he is such a chill and cool guy that he's pretending he's fine. He knows that Gabe likes you, and you gotta let him know something is up that's not that, because otherwise he's going to freak out. Brenda wants me to talk to her. Brenda, tell us what you're thinking here. So I realized something as Gabe and Taylor were dancing on the dance floor. Gabe's hair just keeps getting longer and longer. And if you remember, we had Jesse Henderson, who plays Gabe, in the studio for season 1. And Kylie was all about his hair. All about it. And I believe he's growing it out to look like Max. Did anyone else notice this? His hair just gets longer and longer. And I think it's because Max's hair is getting longer and longer. So that's what's happening. I think that's really happening. Anyway, Taylor comes clean to Max. They don't show us that conversation. I kind of wish they would have, because it is a tough conversation to have that, 1, I think would benefit people to see, and 2, I think it would be an amazing chance for Anna, who plays Taylor, to really show how amazing she is as an actress. That's my personal opinion. I wish they would have done that. So Max, being the ever supportive, ever amazing boyfriend that he is, tells her, this isn't about me. It's about you, and you can tell me anything because I love you. Like, that's... How does he become the most understanding guy in the frickin' world? I don't get it. He's so perfect, and that scares me, right? It scares me. Brenda asks how old Lori is. We don't know exactly, but she is mother age. I don't know, 40s maybe? Early 40s? Please don't hate me. Yeah. I don't know how old Lori is. I don't think they ever gave us an age. They don't give us ages, and they don't do blood tests, Brenda. They don't do blood tests in this show. So, yeah, Boo69B says, yeah, Gabe needs a trim, and I think he really wants to be Max, so Taylor will like him. I'm going to be honest. In that tight shirt with all his muscles, I went, when did Gabe get so cute? That's what I did notice. It's totally what I noticed. Oh, man. It's crazy things happening with this Gabe, Max, Taylor love triangle. And then Max thanks Gabe at the end for saving her. All right. This is what Hannah says about the Max, Gabe, Taylor thing. I think I just all right, now I'm going to read it. Stay calm. Maxler fans, stay calm because she's jumping ship. I think I've just jumped on board with Taylor and Gabe. I mean, Max is super sweet. Duh. But that conversation in the car between Taylor and Gabe, like solid. Sail me down the river with a Gaylor flag. I'm going to be honest. If Gabe and Taylor get together, I really hope it's not Gaylor. I really hope it's Tabe. That's what I think. Yeah, I don't like the Gabe-Taylor relationship, which is funny because I used to be all about that when the show first started. But every time Max becomes more and more perfect, I love him and I want him happy. I don't care who he's with. I just want him happy because he's so perfect. And Taylor, I feel like we've seen her grow so much in that she's dealing with all these things. I think one of the only concerns is that these kind of things, sexual assault like that happen to Taylor, will continue to affect the person. And I just worry that the show won't let that happen. I worry that Finding Carter is not the type of show that's going to let us continue to see this arc and continue to see this character deal with the consequences of that, because it's a life-changing event. And they seem to forget things that have happened. For example, Gabe pointed out that, oh yeah, when my dad died, this happened. His dad just died. It's not when I was little, my dad died and I had to deal with this. His father was just gunned down recently. So, I don't know if I trust them to deal with this issue correctly. That's how I feel about what they decided to put her through. Excuse me, my phone's vibrating. Yeah, it's crazy. And Sarah points out they won't let Taylor harp on it too long. And I'm going to be honest, sexual assault is not something you harp on. It is something that affects your life and changes it in every aspect. And if we ignore that because MTV doesn't want to deal with it, then they shouldn't have put it in the show to begin with. My 2 cents. I'm putting that there. All right. Let's talk about Grant and Reagan because it was the cutest thing in the frickin' world. Okay, so Grant, who is everyone's favorite because he's adorable, and they just don't treat him with enough respect. And we got to see Reagan. First off, she came over. This relationship is budding and becoming beautiful. And with Max helping Grant, I feel like he's going to be another perfect gentleman and perfect guy. So they're painting, and they're going to watch Edward Scissorhands, which is a classic movie, a really old movie. So funny. And then Reagan is so sweet and polite and adorable, and she suggests that Elizabeth writes a book. And this whole scene with Grant and Reagan and Elizabeth was just so cute because it's like their first date, but they're being chaperoned. It's so cute. Sarah says I should adopt Grant, and I'm going to be honest. No kids, but Grant is adorable and wonderful and deserves the best. Max should adopt Grant. That's what I think. So anyways, they have pizza and then music, and then my notes go dancing ! And then first kiss 15 exclamation points, and the best, most adorable little kid conversation. It's good pizza. Yeah, great pizza. So cute. So cute. Adorable. Elena says the show needs at least one healthy, cute relationship. Yeah, I think we have it with Grant and Reagan, but there's no way, it's a drama. There's no way that relationship's gonna stay healthy and cute. It's sad. But yeah, this first kiss was so cute, and I'm sad to see where it's gonna end up going, because we have to go somewhere. That's about it for this episode. Now, before we get into predictions, because there's a lot to talk about, I want to say that this episode was real dramatic as always. And Hannah's notes for Grant and Reagan is, my computer froze in the middle of their kiss. I screamed naturally. That's what she wrote. And she asks if anyone thinks that Damon or Damien or whatever that kid's name is going to end up gay. I don't know how I feel about that. I take it to you guys in the chat roll. Is Damon gay? I think we brought that up here on the after show before. It is a prediction. I think his obsession with Bird makes it less likely, but who knows? What happened to Grant's meltdown? Yeah, he kind of got over it. The show likes to do that. He got over it. All right, let's go into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the trailer, but it looked like one of those This Season on Finding Carter trailers, because it had so much in it that it can't be just for next episode. I'm going to recap all of the things that were in the trailer. So here's what I broke them up by people because they mushed them all together. Here's what I caught. And if you caught something else, please give it to me in the chat roll and I will read it out. So Jared's going to continue with his raves. And it looks like he's selling drugs through Ben. Because remember, Ben owes him a favor because he's not going to the cops because of the credit card machine-y thing. Elizabeth runs a background check on Jared. There is a record there. Someone breaks into his apartment. I think it's his apartment. I'm not sure. Jared needs to be paid up in full or he's not going to like what's coming next. Somebody says that to him. Jared tells Carter, call 911 because somebody is dead. And we see Bird crying. Now, before we move on from other predictions, I'm going to say this. When he says someone's dead, he goes, he's dead. Or he says, is dead. I think it's he's dead. I think we're going to lose a male on the show. And because Bird's crying, I'm going to go with Seth, the DJ, her boyfriend, because he seems to be irrelevant, right? We just met him and now she's dating him. And then he got them into this house concert, which is not a real thing. I'm going to go with he's dead. That's my theory. Okay. Max's abusive father shows up and he throws a woman. I'm assuming it's Max's mom. I couldn't get a look at her face. And then we have Max versus Gabe with, I don't need you to tell me how my girlfriend is. And then they fight. Yeah. Okay. Crash returns. Crash says that he loves Carter and can't be her friend. Carter wants to move out and she moves in with Lori, maybe temporarily. Lori comes to Elizabeth's house. Carter is in trouble. We need your help. Going down. So it looks like Carter's going down for either the death or for the drugs or something like that. And Ben says he's not letting Carter go down for this. We hear Elizabeth shout, drop the gun. And Carter tells Jared to let go and then slaps him. He pushes her. She hits her head on the way down. And then David returns. Those are the things we see in the trailer. It's like a massive thing. Chris in the chat roll, or not in the chat roll, on Twitter. Sorry. Chris in the Twitter says, I think Seth, Bird's boyfriend, dies in the mid-season trailer. Did they do this before? Did they give us a mid-season trailer? Do you guys remember that we're in a half season? So we're in season 2B. Did they do a mid-season trailer in the middle of the season? That's so weird. Predictions that have come in from the chat roll are, Sarah says Bird finally realized she's not relevant, leaves the show. Wrong. Bird's not going anywhere. Yeah. Okay. Ashley says car crash. Yeah. Boo69B says Jared's a drug dealer and is going to get Taylor killed. No way. Sarah wants Grant to be adopted. Yeah, Carrie agrees that it's probably Bird's boyfriend who dies. Sarah also says maybe Gabe ODs. I think we're past that. I think we finished Gabe's spiral. Boo agrees it might be Bird's boyfriend. Brenda says Max might die. Absolutely not. Excuse me. No, Brenda. No. Max can't die. That's not allowed. Elena says maybe it's Damon. Absolutely. Damon can die. Damon is so irrelevant. Excuse me, guys. I'm dying here. Sarah predicts that Gabe, Max, and Taylor have a three-way. Sarah, first of all, unlikely. And second of all, sorry, I was picturing it. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, Carter's going to get her head smashed on the table by Jared. Boo says that. It looks like that. Oh, Sarah says maybe the sister has. You mean Olivia? I think we're done with her. I think we've seen that. Yeah, Allegra says they have done this before. All of this seems really repetitive. Jared's going to go to jail. Yeah, I think that's too. Maybe Ben dies, Callie says. I don't think Ben's going to die. I mean, Jared going to jail is fine. That's how we'll end that whole storyline. I'm totally fine with that. Carter trying to move out and then moves in with Lori. That seems very like the show would do that. It seems so obnoxious. David returns and it seems all dramatic. I don't know why. I don't know why it seems all dramatic that he comes back. And then Max's abusive father storyline. Taylor's there to see it. I think it's going to be a Max Central episode, which I think will be very interesting and fun. But I'm not really sure that, like, we need it, and it's probably going to distract from the story. Maybe they're doing it because Max seems too perfect. We have to see why he's so perfect, because he's been dealing with this. I don't know. Max and Gabe, this fight. Ugh, whatevs. Carter and Gabe sleep together, says Sarah. Taylor gets high. Sarah, you're just throwing out crazy predictions, Sarah. Crazy. But I like them. I like them all. I thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Thank you for all of your great predictions. We have so much coming up the rest of the season, with the raves continuing in Jared's background and probably ending up in jail. Somebody's dying. What a crazy show. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm hoping that I'll let them back in next week. We'll see. Kylie and Hannah will be here. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. If you haven't already, as I said, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzz TV, hit subscribe, iTunes subscribe, write us reviews in iTunes, and we will read them right here on the air. I promise. And I don't break promises when I remember. That I can say. Of course, you can tweet at me live during the whole week and on the weekends. That's right. At Yael Tygiel. I'm always there. I'm always available to answer. I'm also on Instagram, and I've been Snapchatting. That's the thing people like. So look for Yael Tygiel. That's Yael, last name Tygiel. I'm also on Yael TV. That's where you can find everything I'm up to. Yael Tygiel. Yael TV. I need to learn how to spell. I'm tired, guys. Yael.tv. Yael.tv. I'll see you next week for more Finding Carter.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.